Welcome back to the 28th episode of the Dear Young Men podcast. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to get hot on Dear Young Men. The Dear Young Men podcast is a weekly podcast that posts Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk to the 20-year-old version of myself and all the young men out there that need guidance. Okay, that was a joke, obviously. It was not just about how to get hot. We don't want to go too vain, but we do want to get hot because getting hot will give you a lot of positive things in your own life. And by getting hot, I mean just losing weight and going to the gym and being able to be a master of your physical fitness. That's really all we're trying to do because there's so many positives that come from being in better shape, being skinnier, being healthier. For me personally, what I've seen in my own life is I was a very chubby kid when I was younger, very chubby. In high school, I was like 215 pounds. I'm like 5'10". I'm 5'9" and change, but really I'm 5'10". Really, I'm 6'3". And I was like 215 pounds basically the entire time I was in high school. And that's huge for me on my, I mean, I wasn't 215 and a lot of it was muscle. It was 215 and all of it was fat. I remember one time I drove to a gas station and got a dozen Dunkin' Donuts and ate them all. So trust me, I've struggled with weight more than most people struggle with weight. And I want to talk about how I have been able to manage it and how I'm going to hopefully improve it slightly, a little bit more going forward. I need to lose about 15 pounds to really be where I want to be, but I'm actually pretty happy with where I'm at, just needing to basically lose a few pounds. So there are a few reasons why we need to do this. The first one is it gives you confidence. So when I lost weight, after I lost weight in college, sophomore year. A year and a half later, I met my now wife. And so that gives you the confidence. I went up to her, I talked to her, I asked her for her number. It was very smooth. If she says something else, she's wrong. And she lies a lot about that kind of stuff, especially how smooth I was, because she just doesn't, I don't think she realized how smooth I was. At the time, I think she looked back now, she realizes that I was like basically ice. And so what you have to do is have that confidence, and the only way that I was personally able to derive that confidence was from losing weight and being able to look at myself in the mirror, because sometimes when you're overweight and you just hate how you look, you can't even look at yourself in the mirror because you hate the person looking back at you. So that's why it's important, because you need that confidence. You need to be able to go through life liking yourself. Jesus tells us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, and we have to love ourselves in order to love our neighbors as much as we're called to do. So not the only way, one of the ways to do that, one of the best ways to do that, and a start to doing that, is to become that person that you want to be, that you were made to be. And part of it is not sinning, and the other part of it is treating yourself in a way that's good. And eating food and eating unhealthy, that's treating yourself poorly because you're putting a bunch of crap into your body that makes you feel good in the moment, but you're not thinking about Scott, in my case, Scott, one month from now, 1 week from now, 6 months from now, I put on 25 pounds and I feel like crap, none of my clothes fit. That's not fun. You don't care about yourself when you do stuff like that. That's why we're going to do it. So how do we do it? Losing weight is really simple. Sometimes I will say that it's easy, and it's not easy. It's really difficult, but it's very simple because it's just the law of thermodynamics. It's Newton's laws. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So there is no magic, if I eat this type of food, then I gain weight. It's an impossibility. If that's how it was for your body is, we should measure your body in a lab, because you are creating energy where there was no energy to be created. And so you've actually broken the laws of thermodynamics, which is pretty interesting. And we should probably get you tested. So a lot of people will say they have certain foods make them feel bloated. Bloated is different than being heavy and putting on weight and putting on fat. But if you eat too much food, you gain weight. That's it. There's nothing. So what that means is you have to eat less food, and then you will lose weight. So the first thing to do is to figure out your base metabolic rate. This is called a BMR. And for me, it's 1,810 calories. The way you figure that out is you just go to a calculator, type in base metabolic rate calculator, and it gives you all these things of woman, man, how much you weigh, how tall you are, how active you are, that type of stuff. And then it'll tell you that. So for me, it's 1,810 calories. And that is only if I just lay in bed all day. So if at midnight I'm laying in bed, and then at 11:59, 24 hours later, I'm still laying in bed, I would have burned 1,818 calories. But this increases as you work out and do these types of things. This says if you exercise 4 to 5 times a week, you're at 2,652 calories as your base metabolic rate. And I think I'm probably right around 2,500. That's sort of what I've always figured. And so once you have your base metabolic rate figured out, your BMR, you need to eat less than that. And so a good rule of thumb is that 3,500 calories equals a pound about. You will notice your weight will fluctuate because water retention is weird. So if you eat something saltier, you might have more water or less water in your body. So your weight can actually fluctuate a couple pounds because I think it's 16 ounces of water equals 1 pound, and 16 ounces of water is pretty easy to drink. You should be drinking like 6 pounds of water basically every single day. So your weight can fluctuate. Obviously, the more you pee, the less you pee, that type of stuff. So just keep that in mind when you're weighing yourself. So, but once you figure out your base metabolic rate, what you need to do is you need to eat less than that. So 3,500 calories is a pound. So if you want to lose 1 pound every single week, you need to eat 500 less calories than your base metabolic rate. For me, it's 2,500, which means I really need to eat 2,000 calories because that's 500 less times 7. That's 3,500. That's 1 pound. If I want to lose more, I eat 1,500 and that type of stuff. Obviously, a lot of people will tell you don't do it too fast, and I do tend to agree with that, but I would argue that it's better to lose weight quickly and probably in a way that would be quote unquote unhealthy versus not losing weight at all, because being fat and overweight is unhealthier than being thin, even if the way you got to being thin isn't exactly like the quote unquote proper way. Again, you have to do it the way that makes the most sense for you. That's just sort of my thoughts on that type of thing. So for me, the way that I've found success when I lost it in college, I was unintentionally doing intermittent fasting. And basically, I was just waiting a really long time after I ate to then eat again. I found that I had a lot of success doing that. So trying to restrict my window of food, but really after I did eat, giving myself about 20 hours or 18 hours to not eat. That would basically force me to have a caloric deficit of some kind, because you don't eat so many calories in one sitting, especially if you're not eating like a pack of whatever donuts or something like I did that one time, or what Oreos or something. So that's what I found the most success with is intermittent fasting. Obviously, you need to reduce your calories when doing that. So you can't just eat 2,500 calories and then just not eat for 16 hours and then in that 8-hour window eat 2,500 calories, because you're just going to maintain your weight, in my case, at 2,500. So I think that that's the most effective way. And then the next most effective way is to just count calories. And this is probably the only other way to do it. I think that there are other crash diets you can follow, but they're basically just some form of this where you count calories by only eating 1,000 calories a day, or you count calories by only eating this many calories a day and then not being able to eat from this time to this time. They're basically, every form of diet is intermittent fasting and counting calories. That's it. So if you count calories, I think counting calories is exhausting and really difficult. And if you go to a place like Chipotle, it can be kind of inaccurate because this person's going to put more sour cream or less sour cream, or more cheese or less cheese, or more rice or less rice, whatever it is. I personally don't like counting calories. I think it's exhausting. I think it's a harder way to do it, but that's something you should try. In the ways I have found success with it is I get a little book like what I'm showing here. If you're not on video, it's one of these little mini composition books. It's like the size of my palm, basically. It's like a small phone. Actually, yeah, it's about the size of a phone. And so that's an effective way to track it in something like that, or on your phone with the apps MyFitnessPal. There's a lot of good ways to do it. Just figure out something that works for you. Next is you need to change your mindset around food. So stop making food a reward. So many people will look at food as a way, and I've actually been thinking about this a lot, because it makes sense, because I reward myself with food all the time. So if I do something good at work and I get a promotion or whatever, a video does really well, and I want to celebrate something. I want to celebrate something. The thing is with food is that it's so cheap, right? So a candy bar is $2 or $1.59, or even Chipotle is $12, or going out to eat is $25. It's relatively cheap. Like, you don't spend that much money. You feel really fantastic while eating it. In fact, you feel better than like probably almost anything else to eating food like that other than illicit substances. And it's cheap, and so it makes you feel good, and then it's really bad for you. And that's the problem, is you can't reward yourself with food. So I know too often in my own life is I will reward myself with food. I work really hard. Tonight, I'm burning the candle at both ends tonight. I have a flight that I need to leave here at like 5:30 in the morning. It's already 9 o'clock at night. I didn't realize it was so late, 9 o'clock at night. So I'm just going to not get a lot of sleep tonight. And I still need to pack, and I have a lot of stuff I need to do, and I'm getting stressed out even just talking about it. So then after I finish a lot of stuff, what I tend to do is I'll sit down in the kitchen and eat for like 20 minutes to make myself feel good again. So you have to stop doing that. Stop doing those types of things to feel good, because it's a sickness and it's kind of an illness. And I think it's actually a sin in a way to do that, because you're treating your body like crap when you do that. You're treating yourself miserably. I think Christianity, one of the fundamental things about it is like doing things that in the moment don't feel good. It's this, we talked about this last episode, but the spirit versus the flesh. And the spirit versus the flesh is the idea that your spirit is basically like not always good, but it's striving towards the good, whereas your flesh is pulling you down towards earth and away from the good and towards evil. And the flesh is the one that wants the cupcakes, they want the sweets, they want this, they want that. The spirit is you saying, I know I shouldn't eat this, but I'm going to. I'm going to feel guilty about this later, but I'm going to eat this. I know I shouldn't. Oh, my doctor tells me. But then you still eat the damn food. And that's what it is that fight between spirit and flesh. And that is like ultimately the fight for everything in your life is the spirit and flesh. If you follow the spirit the whole time, you'll be good. That's almost impossible, it seems like, at least for me. But you know what? I'm just a crusty sinner, so what do I know? And so that's pretty much it. Another suggestion I would have is to weigh yourself consistently. You can weigh yourself every day. I prefer to weigh myself every day because I need to know where I'm at. I need to know how I'm doing, because it can be discouraging to some people, but to me, it's losing weight is a factual numbers-based thing. Your weight will fluctuate up and down every day, but it should trend down. And so if on Monday you weigh 186 and then Tuesday 184, and then 185, 183, 184, 184, 182, 183, 184, 184.2. It's like you're still trending down, but it's not as linear as maybe you would want it to be. So I like weighing myself every single day, and I think it's really important to continue to do that. And it's important to remember that it's not just about losing weight. It's about looking like the statue of David. That's what we're here to do. We want to look like the statue of David. When you look at the statue of David, he's peak male physicality because he's athletic and he's in really good shape and he's got a lot of muscle and he's natural, which is, a little bit of a bummer because we have all these fake people on Instagram that make us feel bad. But it reminds me of a quote from Socrates: "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable." Keep that in mind as we go to this next chapter, how to get hot through the gym. That's a better title. All right, so the first thing, and pretty much the only thing, we have some other things we're going to talk about, but the most important thing, and the reason it's first, is because it's the only one that really matters, and it's consistency. It's going to the gym and showing up every single day that you're supposed to. Take rest days, obviously, but every single day you need to be there. You need to go to the gym and you need to do the things that you're supposed to do. And so consistency just means showing up every single time you're supposed to show up, whether that means even just doing it at home because you didn't get to go to the gym today, but I'm going to do 100 push-ups and then I'll go to bed. Whatever it is, just be consistent. Act like it matters. Treat it like it's something important. You have to understand that it's hard. It's really hard to be consistent. In my life, I have a job, 9 to 5. I make YouTube videos. I make 2 tech videos a week, and I make 1 podcast. And I have 2 young daughters who love hanging out with me, and my wife, who I love hanging out with. And I still find time to work out. You just have to find the time, and you just have to. I'm sorry, it's hard, but you have to, and it's about being consistent. Next, we'll talk about the types of things that you should be doing. So there are different ways to go about the gym. I think it's not important to figure that out until you've gone for a consistent amount of time. So there's push-pull legs. That's a split you could do. So pushing would be back and bicep workouts. Pushing is chest and tricep. Pulling is back and bicep, and then legs, obviously legs. This is considered a bodybuilder split. I think this is actually too much. Push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, legs. That's 7 days of working, or 6 days of working out in a 7-day period. I think that's actually too much. It's too much for me. I can't handle anything like that. It's too much time. So what I do, I'll walk you through my workouts, is I do a 7-day split, basically. Monday's back and chest. Tuesday, legs. Wednesdays, cardio for 30 minutes. For cardio nowadays, I'm just basically playing basketball. Thursdays, arms. Fridays, a full body workout. Saturdays, cardio for 30 minutes. Sundays, rest. So on Monday, back and chest, I'm actually only doing like, it depends on the day, but I will probably only do like anywhere from 2 to 3 workouts, 2 for back and 2 for chest, or 3 for back and 3 for chest, whatever it is, because I'm just not trying to kill myself. I'm trying to get in better shape, obviously, and I want to improve. At the end of the day, I'm trying to get consistent, so I'm not going to kill myself doing it. For legs, I'm doing like 3 or 4. Again, just trying to be consistent. I'm just trying to get to the gym, do the workouts, leave. Wednesday, cardio for 30 minutes. Like I said, I hate running. Running sucks. I don't like it. So the cardio, you should do something fun. A really fun activity is sprinting. Full sprinting as hard as you possibly can. That's really enjoyable to sprint, and I think it's something that, especially men, is really good for their testosterone. Something we should all be doing more of. Thursday is arms. So that's bicep and triceps. The reason I do it like this is because you could superset it. So when you're working out your triceps, you can also work out your biceps, and the weights you should do won't decrease, because if you're only using your triceps, you're not using your biceps. So that way you can do 10 sets of a tricep workout, and then you can immediately pick up a bicep workout. Next, a full body workout. So this is the type of day where I'm sort of doing something more natural, like more natural movements, where I'm doing push-ups, pull-ups, and deadlifting. Not that deadlifting is a natural movement. Deadlifting is like the best workout ever, because it basically works out every single muscle in the entire body. It's a crazy workout. And so that's just a full body workout to basically just hammer in the fact that I'm working out. And then on Saturday, I do cardio for 30 minutes. Same thing. I'm just doing something physical. Even a walk is fine. Cardio sucks. Everybody hates cardio. It's no fun, but you should probably do it. And then Sunday I rest because my gym is closed, and that's just the way it worked out for me. So that's just the way I do it. And then finally, the last thing is to track your workouts. The reason you're going to do this is you need to see how much weight you're lifting, so you need to improve. When I first started working out, I was basically doing the same weights for months. I was literally doing the same weights for months. I would do 135 on the bench for like months and months and months. I never increased it. I don't know why. I never thought to increase it. I just did that for like months. You have to increase it because you have to get stronger. It's about getting stronger. If you get stronger, your muscles will naturally just get bigger, because they will need to be larger in order to lift heavier things. So the way to track your workouts is, what I do is I use an Excel spreadsheet, or Google Sheets is actually what I use, with a couple formulas in it. And basically what it does is it takes the weight times the reps, and it adds that for each set that I do. So if you do 3 sets, let's say you're bench pressing 100 pounds, 10 reps of that, right? So that's 1,000 pounds per set. And you do 3 sets of those, 3 sets of 100 pounds at 10 reps. So that's 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000. So that's 3,000 pounds lifted that day. And then the next time you go back and do that workout, you want to try to lift more weight than that. So there's a couple ways to do that. Adding on those little 1 1/4, 1.25s, or the 2.5s. Those are good, because if you just add a 1.25 or a 2.5 on each side, let's say you do 2.5, that's 5 pounds more. And if you do 30 reps of that, that's 150 extra pounds. So 150 pounds, so then that would make you at 3,150 pounds. So you've increased your total weight lifted by 150 pounds. And so each week that should get a little bit more. So if that means doing 1 extra rep, or adding on one of those really small weights, that stuff matters. It's real weight. Math is, just because it looks small doesn't mean it doesn't weigh anything. Math is math, and numbers are numbers. And that's a good thing, is because if you just add a little bit more weight, you'll be good. So that's like the most important thing, is to track your weight and be consistent, and then figure out that other stuff later. Don't figure it out from me. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to any of that stuff. Figure it out from somebody else who just knows what they're talking about. And so why have I struggled with it my whole life? And the biggest reason is because I'm stupid. And that's literally it. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I just struggle with it because I think it's a form of sin, and it's a form of the flesh, in my case, defeating my spirit too consistently. And am I where I want to be? No. Am I on my way there? Yes, certainly. Life is not a destination. It's just about, honestly, the struggle. Life's about learning to love the struggle, because the struggle is fun. It's fun to get a little bit better each day, to see a little bit of improvements, and have your shirts fit a little bit differently because you've been going to the gym and your arms are a little bit bigger in them. That's what it's all about. It's not about the destination. There's no destination to get to. You'll get to whatever weight you want to get to, and then you want to get smaller or bigger or stronger or faster, whatever. You're never going to get there. It's just about enjoying it, because that's what it's all about. That's life. It's like just enjoying how sucky it is, but then try to make the best of it and make some friends along the way, and maybe you'll meet a girl and then you have some kids, and that's life. And finally, I have this written down. You're probably asking yourselves, who is this guy to give me advice on this stuff? He doesn't look like he should be giving advice on this stuff. And ultimately, the messenger isn't the message. Moses murdered a man, but then delivered the Jews from Egypt. But I have struggled immensely with my weight when I was younger. I had zero confidence. I never talked to women, and I was deeply ashamed of the person that I was. I know how it feels to be that chubby kid or that chubby person, the funny one who is sad, lonely, and depressed. But here I am, and I've come a long way from those days of looking in the mirror and not liking what I see in the reflection, not liking just the way I look, but also the person that I am. And a crucial part in my development was losing weight, because it's ultimately the reason I met my wife. It gave me the confidence. I said, screw it. I'm handsome. I think I look good, and I'm just going to talk to her. She's not going to care. She's going to think I'm handsome, blah, blah, blah. You just have to pretend. You basically, you have to be delusional. And that's half of it. Then you have to just be bold enough to just talk to a girl and say hello. And the good thing is that if that works out and things work out, you can have beautiful things like children. And had I never lost the weight, I've thought about this quite a bit. If I've never lost the weight, I never would have had my kids, because I never would have approached her, and she never would have met me, and she would never would have known I existed, because I just would have saw her at the bar, thought she was hot, and then walked away because I was afraid. And so fear can be crippling, but trying to do things to make fear less scary, or less fearful, I should say, is a good thing. Thank you for listening. This has been Scott with the Daring Men Podcast. Sorry, the lighting sucks. I'm tired, and I got a lot of shit to do tonight. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace out.